and the seconder, Senator Sifuna and Senator Wambua, you've spoken maturely. You have raised the issue for us, even as we uphold the rule of law, whereby we are obeying court orders. Evictions must be done legally and with a humane face. What's the big deal? If the courts have agreed that the owner of this property is Portland and people have settled there illegally, let them go away. But let it be done procedurally and with a human face. That's all we are saying. Honorable members, I remember when I was in this parliament in 2004, we were faced with a similar problem when 100,000 people had to be evacuated from the Mau forest. Again, in 2011, when I was in this parliament, we witnessed thousands of people being evicted from Syokimau. And the threat is the same, that business people, political people, they create cartels, con unsuspecting members of the public, they buy land which does not belong to these conmen, and then, as Wambua has said, they are second, third, fourth generation buyers. They're the ones who face this brand. We must say no. The people in Syokimau were warned repeatedly that you are putting up houses in the flight path to the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. They couldn't listen. Similarly, the people in the Mau, hundreds of thousands, were warned that this is an environmental water tower. They couldn't listen because they thought they were protected by the rich people who gave them that land or the politicians who sent them there. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, I tell this republic of ours, if we want to lead this country, we must hold each other. The weak, they be held by you, the strong ones. As in the government side, we hold hands with those in the opposition side when a matter requires that we close ranks. The people who are perpetrators of this con game must be pursued to its logical conclusion. And they are known. As I speak today, Boniface Sunguti Ichingwa, son of Ichingwa from Malinya, has sent me a message here that, Uncle, while you are away in Malinya, we have slept in the rain. He had bought such a land, he had put up property there. A young person, aged round about 29, 30, 31 years. These are the people we are supposed to protect. I hope when the president comes, he has taken step one, he has complied with a court order. We want to tell him that we are behind him to respect court orders, but we want to urge him to prevail upon agencies that manage eviction and settlement of people to do it in a humane way. Doing anything else, we either cease to be Kenyans or we become animals. Really? That somebody registered a primary school on land that did not exist? And I have registered 23 secondary schools which I built in Ekolomani. And I know the process of registration is rigorous. Who was doing these things? Unless it is a cartel.
Honorable Senator, time up. Senator Manzo Daniel Kitonga.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to contribute on this very important matter. Madam Speaker, other than this suit which has been concluded, there is another suit pending which will be determined about the same land in November, and I believe the same will not follow. The truth of the matter is the moment Portland acquired the land, and the moment the land lease expired, and the moment what Portland was doing there, which was mining, was over, the land was supposed to revert back to the community. And the current status is that it has to go back also, partly and co-owned by the county government of Machakos, which is the trustee. And therefore, it doesn't automatically go to the national government or automatically go back to the Portland company. And therefore, what has happened with this particular court order, Machakos County government had not been served. And instead of waiting for that or the judge giving an opportunity, which happens, this ruling was arrived at through technicalities. And I also believe that some people were waiting for this. And as soon as that happened, people were very quick, you know, and agencies were very quick to run and evict. Instead of waiting for their cries and or giving reasonable time for these people to appeal, and then failure of appeal, then the matter would have been different. But that notwithstanding, there is something called an adverse possession of land. And that's why the Constitution says, and also the Fair Administration Act, says that you cannot no longer now, under the new Constitution, determine and conclude it doesn't automatically go to the national government or automatically go back to the Portland company. And therefore, what has happened with this particular court order, Machakos County government had not been served. And instead of waiting for that or the judge giving an opportunity, which happens, this ruling was arrived at through technicalities. And I also believe that some people were waiting for this. And as soon as that happened, people were very quick, you know, and agencies were very quick to run and evict. Instead of waiting for their cries and or giving reasonable time for these people to appeal, and then failure of appeal, then the matter would have been different. But that notwithstanding, there is something called an adverse possession of land. And that's why the Constitution says, and also the Fair Administration Act, says that you cannot no longer now, under the new Constitution, determine and conclude a matter fully on technicalities. You must hear all the parties. In this case, all the parties have not been heard, and even the issue of adverse possession, of which these people have been here for over 12 years, has not been heard and determined. And therefore, whatever has happened is vitiated by politicians. That is very true. Statements have been made by different politicians regarding this particular land. There are quite a number of highly connected people involved, and the idea is not to give this land back to Portland or give it for any other purpose allocated, which is the work of the Land Commission. The idea is to grab this land and take it for their personal interests, having taken it away from others. And even if this was to be for industry, even if it was to be for the housing project, these people had already done housing. I'm aware that Portland have a debt with the KCB. Even if it was for a debt with the KCB, there should have been notice of 90 days. And upon giving notice of 90 days, people would have negotiated. Say, fine, if the land doesn't belong to us, can we then raise money and pay KCB so that now we can know what to do for the land? Or can we then pay for the land so that we can be able to occupy it? And for the information of this house, there are many other thousands of acres of land in that area which are going to be mined and are going to be left vacant. So for all purposes and intent, that will still have covered any purposes the government or any other agency would have wanted to do so in future, but not to evict the people in an inhumane way, destroy their properties. They have failed to have a human face. I don't think that's what government is. Government has a human face. And that's why we politicians go to the people and are servants of the people. We should hear the cries of the people. So the ones who damage and destroy the properties, I am very sure the Court of Appeal is going to revisit this, and there is going to be substantive hearing at the Court of Appeal while the houses are down and the people have been evicted, the churches have been destroyed. I think from what I've seen, even a mosque was constructed in my village, a place called Kabonzweni, irregularly on public land without consultation. But even after the Muslim community who had done that left the area, up to today nobody has touched that mosque. It is respected. Nobody else can go and destroy that mosque. You must respect places of worship because they are sanctified, and all this land we are fighting about belong to God. It doesn't belong to a particular individual. So I believe when we finally go to the Court of Appeal and I'm sure the parties involved are very busy filing. And also, we have this other ruling we are waiting in November. I hope it is also not going to be ruled on technicalities, and I'm sure the judicial officer dealing with it has seen the outcome of a court decision, barely on technicalities, looking machinized, looking not usual. You know, justice must be seen to be done. Justice cannot be managed through cartels.
Time up, Senator Karungo Thangwa.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I wish this motion was speaking about going for the criminals. And the criminals are the people who sold land to these unsuspecting residents of Mavoko. Madam Speaker, from what I've gathered, and I really sympathize with the people of Mavoko, and I really sympathize with those people who lost their property, but being a legal battle, Madam Speaker, everybody and everyone was fighting for their right, Madam Speaker. This legal battle has been going on for 9 years between the cement company and the residents from that region, Madam Speaker. For 9 years, they were unable to agree on what they were supposed to do in regards to the parcels of land that they bought from cartels, from criminals, and from those who grabbed that land. Madam Speaker, the same cement company has land about 900 acres, just nearby. They were able to discuss with those who bought land from land grabbers, and they had agreed that now, as much as we paid the land grabbers, we are going to pay the cement company. And that's why, Madam Speaker, maybe there's no demolition, because they agreed with those who bought land from the land grabbers, Madam Speaker. On this issue, instead of us being reactive, we should be proactive, Madam Speaker. There have been billboards that have been put on that land urging Kenyans not to buy land from that area because there is one, court case, and two, they believe that land does not belong to a society called Aimimalu Kenya that was selling land to unsuspecting people. Madam Speaker, let us not be a house that is going to whip the emotions, that we want to be seen to be fighting for our people, yet we are not, Madam Speaker. Because if we were, the county government of Machakos could have done something. The representatives of Machakos could have brought that issue at the Senate. And Senate, we have very nice committees that are looking into matters, Madam Speaker. But we wait for whoever is demolishing, of which I don't believe is my government, whoever is demolishing, Madam Speaker, we wait till our people lose their property. It was very painful to see a border guy, Madam Speaker, saying that he saved money for 5 years to build a house in there, only for it to be demolished, Madam Speaker. And then after the demolishing has happened, we just make noise. And then we let the criminals go. The criminals who took this land and sold to the border guy. And there are people that are known. They are in government, some of them. They are in administration, police administration, Madam Speaker. Today the DCI has summoned so many people to appear before them to give them information. Some of them are members of parliament. Some of them are owners of a society. Some of them are former OCPDs, Madam Speaker. I think, and I urge this Senate, it is sad that people have lost their property. Yes, it is sad, and we should condemn that with the possible words that we can use, Madam Speaker. But we should also go for the people who conned these people who are losing their properties twice, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, there's some leaders that I don't want to mention at this particular time of a certain political party, Madam Speaker, that are said to have taken this land and they have been fighting whoever in the name of protecting the residents of Mavoko. Madam Speaker, how come the said people have not even helped these people to go and have an appeal case at the court of law? At least assist these people in every way. But you cannot go to visit them when the demolitions are happening. Yet 9 years.
What is your point of order, Senator Sifuna?
Madam Speaker, on Standing Order 101, on responsibility for the statements that are being made on the floor of the House, I think Senator Khalwale had set the tone by saying that the presentations that were being made on the floor were very mature. Is it in order, Madam Speaker, for Senator for Kiambu to make allegations against leaders of a party that he has refused to disclose without making any substantiation of those allegations, Madam Speaker? Because this matter is a serious matter, and any person who has information that can help the people of Mavoko get justice should be speaking with authority of facts. Madam Speaker, it is a matter of fact also that there was hardly any period between the time the court case was dismissed and the time when the demolitions began. As Senator Manzo has submitted on the floor, it is as if some people had already known or anticipated the decision in advance. So is it in order for Senator Thangwa, to say that the leadership in Machakos have done nothing to help the people to appeal? You cannot appeal when your house has already been demolished. That is why we usually have, Madam Speaker, a period of 14 days between a judgment and the time when action is supposed to be taken to allow for that appeal. But that has not been the case here. Can you substantiate on those two issues, Madam Speaker?
Senator, what is your point of order, Senator Halwale?
Madam Speaker, again I rise on 105 just like Senator Sifuna. But as I appealed, this is not a government problem or an opposition problem. We have this motion because there is a humanitarian crisis. So even to ask the Senator for Kiambu to substantiate, to look like he is to blame, Madam Speaker, can I, sir? Yeah.
Let him finish, Senator.
Madam Speaker, if there is need for substantiation, the police, through a press release, has just tabulated the names of the senior officers that the Senator of Kiambu is speaking to. And they include the kind of players he's talking about. Madam Speaker, because I'm on the, yes, electronic evidence can be tabled in this house.
Let
Madam
finish,
Speaker,
Senator Catherine, allow Senator Boni to finish.
Madam Speaker, as I speak to this document, it's not a public document. They are speaking to former deputy commissioner, former deputy county officer, former OCPD, Maboko,
What
former DCI.
Are you reading?
Yes?
Can you give us the title of that document?
The title is the National Police Service, Directorate of Criminal Investigation, dated 17th of October, press release. They are asking all these people who are adversely affected by the humanitarian crisis to go. They have opened a desk to go and register the names of the people who called them. And they have said, for starters, this starting from, Madam Speaker, can I read the names now?
No, you don't read if it's public knowledge, Senator Halwale.
Yes.
If you resume your seat, we have heard your line of argument. I will request Senator Karungo Dhangwa, if you would want to add in more information to what you suggested as people you mentioned from other political parties. What of clarification, Senator Agnes Mudhama.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just want to clarify that we as a leadership of Machakos did not wait until we come here, and also for humanitarian grounds when our people are sleeping out, and not only Machakos people alone. Kenyans are in Machakos, Mavoko. They've been, you know, they're sleeping outside. No school. Children are not going to school. Are we supposed to keep quiet really as a leadership of Machakos? And I want to say also, the governor took lawyers immediately the next day, and they went to court to apply an application of urgency to stop the demolition. And they were told to go back and serve all the parties and then go back on Monday just for this demolition to continue. It's unfair, it's inhumane.
Clarification is noted. Senator Karungo Dhangwa, would you want to put in additional information based on what you submitted before?
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. You know, you can only be told to substantiate what you have said, but you can never be told to substantiate what you haven't said, Madam Speaker. I have not named any political party, but they say there is a political party. I have not mentioned which political party, and I have the right to say that there is people who conned our people, Madam Speaker. And remember, as much as I'm sympathizing, feeling for them, because maybe even this motion is here to protect those criminals, Madam Speaker. Maybe what we are looking for is to protect those who sold land to these. That's why I'm taking that angle, Madam Speaker.
Let me give directions.
That's why I'm taking that angle, because we cannot be fighting for our people by pretending, Madam Speaker. We have to look for, you have to get to the origin of this issue.
Just allow
as much as I'm fighting for them to be given somewhere to stay, to be given back their property, I should also be fighting for them to get their money from the criminals, from the land grabbers, from those who lie to them, that land belongs to them, Madam Speaker.
Resume your seat. Let me give a direction on this matter. The manner and style in which a senator chooses to adopt in their debate remains their preserve. Senator Karungo Dhangwa insinuated there may be some people from a certain political party. In Kenya, we have 89 political parties. It would not be correct for anybody to assume which political party the people who are alleged to be culpable belong to. It is within his rights to pick the nature of statement that he gives. If he gave names and sought clarification, and we sought clarification, that would be a different story. But the way he chooses to give his debate, that is the preserve of the senator. And we asked for additional information. He did not supply any further information to point to any political party. So we shall proceed on with the debate. Senator Osotsi Godfrey Atieno.
Madam Speaker.
What is your point of order should come when there is someone on the floor, Senator Catherine. Can you allow him to begin and then you do it as per the standing? Proceed.
Senator Dhangwa has suggested that the moving of this motion was intended to protect criminals. He has said it. Senator Dhangwa has said a political party whose leaders have then gone to look as if they're supporting the victims. Madam Speaker, I think a political party can only be one. If he actually is speaking in good faith to try and help resolve this problem, he needs to name the party, he needs to name the leaders who are protecting the victims. And I think it is bad faith for him to say the motion is intended to protect victims. Can he clarify why he believes that is the case?
Senator Catherine Muma, I have given a direction on that matter. The issue that was raised by Senator Sifuna was about the political party. There was no other issue raised unless the Hansard would bear a different record. I would request Senator Osotsi to proceed.
Madam Speaker, let me also contribute to this motion of adjournment by supporting it and say that this Senate, I think we are creating a very bad precedent. I have observed very carefully, Madam Speaker, that members have brought here a motion of adjournment to discuss very serious issues. But when the motion is put, we don't get to discuss the substantiveness of the issues in that motion. We degenerate into our political parties and we lose the entire idea of bringing up the adjournment motion. I want to say this is a very serious matter, Madam Speaker. And I want to disagree with the members who have spoken earlier, particularly the majority whip, who said that this is not a government problem. I want to state here that this is a government problem. And I'm saying this because...
What is your point of clarification, Senator Kavintu?
Madam Speaker, I still insist that Senator Thangwa should come out and say clearly what he means when he says maybe the motion is for, no, when he says the motion is for protecting criminals. I'm not here to protect any criminal. I am here to defend my people of Machakos.
Senator Agnes Kavindu, I have given a direction on that matter. Senator Karungo was responding to the issue of the political party, and I gave a guidance that his response was on the political party aspect. So, Senator Osotsi, please proceed.
Madam Speaker, exactly that's the point I was putting across. When we have a motion of adjournment, I think we need to act very seriously and responsible so that we get the results of what we are discussing. On this particular motion, Madam Speaker, this is a very serious matter. Yes. A serious matter where hundreds of families are sleeping in the cold. Yes. El Nino is just about to come. They have no